I want to get your honest opinion because you were very high on your quarterback there, Shedeur Sanders, as you should be. That's your guy. He had good numbers last year. I'm not as high as far as NFL equation. College-wise, I believe he's going to pull up numbers. In the NFL is what I ultimately judge you on. I'm not as high on him going and translating to the NFL as maybe you or other folks are, which is fine. That's okay. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. I'll eat crow, whatever. I got to ask you, though. He came out with this take. What is your take on this? Because I don't see either of these two guys in that in his repertoire. I think he's his own guy, honestly. I don't see Tom Brady, and I definitely don't see Michael Vick. I actually see less Michael Vick than Tom Brady in him. I actually see more Tom Brady than Michael Vick. He's not that athlete. He's not that athlete.
That's a ridiculous comparison. You're getting – come on. Tom Brady was picked 199. You don't – no offense. You don't want to be compared to Tom Brady coming out of the draft. You want to be compared to Tom Brady after you get into the NFL. Okay? So that's number one. He went 199. Number two, I don't think he has a lot in common with Michael Vick. And that's not a knock, bro. No one has anything in common with Michael Vick. Michael Vick is a goddamn freak. I mean, look, if you want to say he's a combo someone with how long he is, maybe a Cunningham, but he doesn't run
I get Randall.
I could go with Randall Cunningham more than Michael Vick. I'm not saying Shedeur can't run.
Yeah, I get Cunningham. Yeah.
I wouldn't say Shedeur can't run. He's very mobile in the pocket. He's just not a burner. Like, he's not going to go just outrun you. Now, all that said, the comparison stuff with Shedeur, I think Shedeur's kind of like one of one. And he's kind of something like I've never really seen before. He's the son of a legend. Most legends' sons are not great players, and he's obviously thrown that away. He's a fucking animal of a player, just a stud. So, on top of that, he's got a lot of things he needs to fix, but he's got so much shit he does well. I mean, he's a leader on the field. He's a true commander in the pocket. He commands the respect in the huddle. He's had a lot of different guys come in and out, and he always seems to keep his play at the same level or elevate it. We watched I sent a video of you doing one-on-ones. I don't know how that got leaked, but you probably shouldn't be leaking your one-on-one reps to the world.
Yeah, that's a bad look. That's a bad look.
I mean, it's just like, I'm not saying the players are bad or anything, but don't leak your one-on-ones to the world if you don't want to leak stuff to the world.
I told you, Matt. I told you. I said, you know what though? Looking around, like if I'm a coach and a talent evaluator, that I've always been a personnel guy. I like their body types. I'll tell you right now.
That's where I was going. That said, they're big, and it looks like they're rotating guys in and out, and Seaton's playing tackle and guard, and like it looks to me like they may have a mixture there of maybe 8 guys that can get something done. We don't need them to be Superman. I just need to be a little bit above average, and then you will continue to progress and get better. Coach Lodeholt is the man, and I think he's going to do a great job of, being able to relate to these guys in a way that they understand. Like, look, this isn't about just keeping Shedeur upright, or isn't about this or that. This is about the National Football League, gentlemen. And I feel like Coach Lodeholt, for as long as he did it in the NFL, I think that he can really get everybody in the room super motivated to go chase that bag instead of trying to put too much emphasis on the bag now. So, look, I think Shedeur has the world by the balls right now, bro. If he does things right with the schedule they play, being on national TV as much as they're on national TV the first 3 weeks of the season, and then assuming that they're 3-0, 2-1 coming out of that mix, and they can beat Baylor, and then they start the Big 12 part of this constructively. The Baylor game's huge. They have to get that dub at home, because the next week you go on the road to Orlando. Now, it's a long trip, but it's Dion going back to Florida for the first time. It's the first time he's coached in Florida with this group. So that's a massive opportunity to go to Orlando and put a hurting on UCF and see if you can kind of build a little rivalry with that club too. They're black and gold. We're black and gold. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. So it's important that they start the season off on a real high note and on a fast pace. And I think they will, man. I'm really, really excited for Shedeur and this group. The receiving core he has is outstanding. I'm concerned about the tight end position. I know they offer Big Zane, but he's only going to be a senior. He can't help them next year.
Right.
The big tight end from Loveland they offer, but I am concerned about the tight end position because when you're trying to run the ball in 11 personnel as much as they do, if you don't have a tight end that can really block at the scissor and come back and block that defense, then we'll run zone and really get after people at the point of attack, and a guy who can go play H-back, fullback, tight end, stretch the middle of the field. Like, it's a very versatile piece. If you don't have that, it's going to be really, really hard to just find it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what they do with that, but they've had the Rolodex going here on tight ends for a while, so hopefully they can figure this out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hey, Matt, I got to ask you, like, back in the day, the Big 12 used to look like that video we saw of one-on-ones. They were big, long bodies, 6'7", 6'8", O-line, O-tackles used to be everywhere. Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, Illinois. Everybody had huge bodies, and that is what you're used to in that conference. And now I'd find it hard-pressed for North Dakota State to come in there and look better than that. I think Colorado will have better personnel, obviously. They better as a Power 5 team.
They won't look better than us, but they're
going to play, though.
Look, North Dakota State, the same way, and I'm just worried about it. We should roll them. Let's be real. But this happens all the time. It happened with Michigan and App State. Okay, it happened. Yeah. It happened. I watched Colorado lose to Sacramento State once at home.
How about Coastal Carolina beating UCLA 2 years in a row?
Coastal Carolina went to UCLA and won, and that's even a group of 5 school. That's not just, we're not just talking about North Dakota State. They're 1AA. Right. So, this is not something new. If you go back and look at North Dakota State's last 10 trips to, group of 5 land, I think they're 9-1. And all their games are close that they won, but they won. They won in Manhattan. They've beat Iowa State at home. So they're concerning because I don't want the Buffs to look at the logo and think that it's a pushover. And I think that the coaches and Coach Prime will do a great job of getting them ready. Yeah. But everybody knows that the players play. So you can hear the message from the coach all you want, but that big red N is lingering next week on national TV, just waiting for you in Lincoln. And then after that, you've got your little brother up in Fort Collins on national TV again at night, just waiting for you up in Fort Collins. So you've got to take care of North Dakota State first on national TV on August 28th, and then it gives you almost 10 days to get ready for the Corn in Lincoln. So it's the fastest way to get this pressure ramped up is to go play poorly or lose to this team, which I don't see them losing. The fastest way to get this bitch rolling is to go put a hurting on North Dakota State, do your jobs, go out there and really execute at a high level so everybody in the country looks at that and goes, wow, they've really figured this out year 2. Coach Prime has them rolling. Shadeur's gotten better. And then if I'm Colorado, I'm using the North Dakota State game to set up Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do things in that game, hopefully, that they game plan for that we do not do in Lincoln when we go. So that's another huge advantage CU could take advantage of if they do. Because last year when they went to TCU, I know they played really well, but TCU didn't have any film on them. That was a huge part of it. And then the next week against Nebraska, they changed up personnel and they changed up a lot of what they were doing. So Nebraska didn't have a lot of film on them too. But if you look at what CSU did, they had 2 weeks to get ready for us. They had a bye week and then another, then the game week. And they had a blue. They just looked like they were in the meetings with us at times. So when you have a book on your opponent and they start figuring out what you're doing from a formation standpoint and your motions and your cadence and everything else, it becomes very hard to execute at that level. Now, did they come back and win and acclimate and do it right? Absolutely they did. So that also tells me that they can change. The great Don Shula told me, I think I got this book. Look at that right here. The Don Shula Little Book of Coaching right there. This thing is so old, it's beat up. My dad gave it to me so long ago. But this thing is just filled. It's all broken shit. Don Shula signed it. It's filled with just inspirational quotes, okay? To be successful, all you have to do is work half days. You can work the first 12 hours or the second 12 hours. Yada, 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 yada. Behavior is controlled by the consequences or response it receives. Yada, 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 yada. Okay? But there's one in here. And look, I go right to it. Holy shit, look at that. Be prepared with a plan and then expect the unexpected and be ready to change your plan.
Ooh,
that's what football is right there, boys. So, and that goes to every aspect of life. Be prepared. If it don't work, be prepared to scrap it and move on.
There it is.
Hey, let me ask you something. A true, honest question here. If North Dakota State goes in and wins that game, would you be surprised? That's a real question. Would you be more surprised or more like, I don't think you'd be surprised. I think you know what you're up against as far as a program.
No, I would be totally shocked. I would be stunned. I mean, we have to talk about it because it's something that I guess could happen. But I would be disgusted on top of being shocked.
Is this because of the disparity of levels, or is it because of disparity but would you be shocked if they went in there and say and like, let's just say outcoach, what we use the term outcoach, and Colorado just seemed like they were on their heels the whole game?
I would be shocked if they came in and did anything better than us yet. And I'm not saying they can't, or they don't have the people to do it. I'm sure they have great coaches there and good players, but there's a huge difference in everything: funding, players, recruiting, coaching, being able to pay your players and your coaches.
Home field advantage.
The way you eat.
Right.
Everything's different. So CU has an advantage in every single category. They're paying North Dakota State to come to Boulder. Yeah, you need to go out there and absolutely shit stop these people and get it over with. And the end of the third quarter, they should be rotating starters out and putting backups in to see what we've got in the coffers behind all the elite guys. That's what needs to be done in order for Colorado to absolutely maximize week 1, Thursday, the 28th.
Yeah. And I don't think the players of Colorado will take this game lightly. Not one, because like you said earlier, Matt, Dion and the coaching staff, I'm sure we'll do a good job of preaching the seriousness of this and kind of preaching the history of North Dakota State. But number two, like we all know, man, that first week when you finally can hit another color.
So awesome.
Oh my God. It's like we've been hitting each other all camp long. We've been in practice fighting and arguing and frustrated and hot. We finally get to take this shit out on another team, another color. Oh, I don't give a fuck if we playing against the damn little league team. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So I think
you could roll out the Iowa Tech, college for the deaf, dumb, and blind, and we're rolling.
Exactly. So we're gonna see. And we close, JB. We close. We almost there, man. It's almost time for college football.
When's the studio getting opened?
Tomorrow.